Hi friends, how are you? Welcome back to the channel. We are on June 1st today, the first day of June, which means that Draco Malfoy's birthday is coming up in around 4 days. So we gotta celebrate his birthday with a dramatic fanfiction recommendation episode, do we? For his birthday this year, we are going to celebrate with a series of Draco Malfoy point of view story. When I say Draco Malfoy point of view story, I meant dramatic fanfiction that are solely narrated by Draco Malfoy, which is one of my most favorite things to read when it comes to Hermione. Well, I love to see karma works on that bitch. I love to see him pine. I love to see him grovel. I love to see him inflict angst on himself because he doesn't think that he deserves Hermione Granger. I read a quote somewhere that say the man who deserves you the most doesn't think that he deserves you, and I want to see that manifestation of that quote in Draco Malfoy and Hermione Granger. Because why are you a bully? Why are you a bigot? And now look where you are. And if you were going to ask me if he is such a bully, he is such a bigot, why are you shipping him with Hermione Granger, then I would say, bitch, he's redeemed. I have made a whole video arguing about the character of Draco Malfoy, okay? I have presented argument, evidence, artifact, all in that video, and in fact, it was for the celebration of his birthday last year. So if you haven't seen that video yet and you are wondering why I can't ship someone like Draco Malfoy with Hermione Granger, please head over and give me another view, okay? Now, back to the video at hand. We are going to have 17 Draco point of view story in this video, which is the largest amount of fic that I have ever recommended in one video. So we are going to keep things brief today, okay? I'm gonna keep my commentary to a minimum because you guys already know that I only recommend quality fanfiction on here. All of the story that I'm gonna recommend in this video are very high quality fanfiction. They are very well written, very well developed, very well balanced out Hermione fics that you can just jump in and have a good time. Let's get a video started because we have so much to go over. First of all, let's start with some honorable mention, and they are not honorable mention in terms of quality or anything like that. They are just what I believe to be the pillars in the community, fanfictions that are so good you have probably already heard of or read already. So I just wanted to give the spotlight back to some lesser known fic. First of all, the most famous Draco point of view story that I believe to be out there, which is Draco Malfoy and the Mortifying Ordeal of Being Loved by Is This Self-Care. Then we have The Disappearances of Draco Malfoy by Speechwriter, All the Wrong Things by Love Bitska A, and Beginning and End by Might Be Writing. Those are the Draco Malfoy point of view story that you cannot go wrong with. Pick one of the four and you will have such a good time. Now, on to the first recommendation, we have A Flavor Names and Color Sound by Pink Panda. This is a story where Draco has a condition called synesthesia. I still don't know how to pronounce that word, but it's a condition that allows him to taste the flavor of words and see the color of sound. This is probably among the most beautiful written story out there, if not the most beautifully written 10,000 work that you guys will ever read. It's follow Draco through his life with this condition, and the majority of it is him pining for Hermione Granger. This story reminds me of a Monet painting because of how beautifully written it is, so please go ahead and do me a favor, read it right now, okay? It's just 12 out of 10 quality. Okay, next recommendation is something new that I have never mentioned on this channel before, and it is a very long name fic. 5 times Draco Malfoy accidentally apparated into Hermione Granger bed, and the 1 time he meant to by the friend cakes. He just have a condition that he just keep apparating into Hermione Granger bed in a very inopportune time. It's just super cute, and it will give you a good laugh. Go ahead and read this story, you will not regret it. Next is something that I just read recently, like last week, and it was just so cute that I just immediately need to talk to you guys about it. There are actually 2 words. One of them is like a prelude to the other, and they are Hermione's Hair and Taming Granger by JC Victory. There's a plane flying by, you guys hear it? In this story, we follow Draco's whole plan to get a kiss with Hermione Granger, but of course you know that it is so much more than that, and he is just opening a floodgate. These stories are written with such wit, such clever remark and humor that you guys would just have a good time reading it, and of course it is super bubbly, fluffy, and tender. So if you guys need a pick-me-up mood booster, I feel like this story is gonna be perfect. The next recommendation, we have Living a Dream by Ally 147. I have talked to you guys about this story in my last video already in the Hermione Yap. In this story, we have a Villa Draco. He is approaching 30 years old without finding out who his mate is, so he and Blaze came up with a brilliant idea of running a high-class escort business to increase the chance of Draco finding his mate. Now, we obviously know who Draco's mate is, right? So this story will tell us the journey of how Draco gets there. First, finding out who his mate is, and secondly, telling her that Hermione is his mate. First read the synopsis of this story, I thought that it would be very smoothie, but in fact it is just so tender. It's just so cute. It's just so romantic that it just makes my heart whip. This is such a good gateway into Villa Draco stories. Next is also something that I just read last week, and it's just a very special story in terms of premises and setup and the characterization. Like, everything is just so different. It's Mr. and Mrs. Malfoy by P.H. Locke. Draco and Hermione just seemingly perfectly in love, but both of them have secrets. I have such a good time with it because I love to see actions in Hermione's story. I love to follow kind of like a plot or like a mystery, but at the same time read about the detail, the tender touches that Hermione share. It's also very different. I don't know how to describe the differences of this story or why it drawn me into it so much, but I feel like you guys will probably know what I mean after you read this story. So go ahead and read this story, okay? Next, we have a very familiar recommendations, that we have Divanaire read by Barnett Did It. I still don't know if that's the correct way to pronounce the title of the fic and the author's name, but we'll just roll with it, okay? This story is another super beautifully written story about Draco's life, as he kind of like narrated his whole life for us to see. In this story though, Draco's life surrounds around his piano and his music. It's just probably the most lyrical piece out there, even though Draco's music is instrumental in this. Read it on a rainy day, you're cozy in bed, have a little bit of piano music going on in the background. That's just like a whole vision, okay? You will feel it in your heart, in your bones. Next, we have one of my probably most beloved fic that I almost wanted to gatekeep. This Modality by Dirty Mudblood. In just 18,000 words, we went through like a whole character redemption for Draco Malfoy, and his narration of this story is just chef kiss. Draco has just injured himself on his auto job, and he is now placed into the cares of Hermione Granger, and their whole story started like that for us. It's just one of those fic that I love with all of my heart. It gives me a lot of Draco and Hermione interaction because they are spending a lot of time together, but at the same time it highlights such a good friendship between Draco and Harry and Ron, which is very refreshing for me to read, and everything is just perfect. You will have a good time with it, I promise. Next, we have one of the familiar faces again, and you guys already know that I have to recommend One of the Monsters by Malfoy. This story is an alternative universe story where the war didn't end at the Battle of Hogwarts, but it dragged on and on for years with no winning or losing side. So Draco Malfoy started to doubt himself, his positions, and the whole war. So he has turned into a very muggle escape, which is the London Tube, the London Underground. Here he finds himself discover so many more secrets that he wasn't privy to before. Cannot tell you anything else about this story. This story is an experience that you just have to go out there and like experience it for yourself. If you guys are regular on this channel, you guys know how much I love Malfoy's story, okay? Malfoy is my #1 Dramione author of all time. Like, it is the only one story that I ever tell my boyfriend about in detail. That's how much I love this story, okay? Just promise me that you will read this story. Next, we have another one of my beloved, my all-time favorite, and it is Tea and Necromancy by Saber Skinship. This story I read just like at the beginning of the year, and it is a story where Draco has come back to Hogwarts after the war to attend his 8th year, and he started to pick up clues on Hermione Granger because she had declared herself dead, with no one caring about that statement or investigating what's wrong with Hermione Granger. So he has took upon those tasks himself. It is such a good post-war story. It is very perfectly balanced between dark and light. We also have a side of not power. We have both Theo and Harry, and they are just supportive and they are crazy too. I just highlight like so many things in this story. I love a soft boy Draco. I love a tender Draco, and if that's your thing too, please go ahead and read this story because our boy is just chef kiss in this, okay? Next, we have one of my beloved again, and it is Innocent Monster by It's Come to This. This story is once again an 8-year story full of healing and second chances and humor, and just like super well balanced. We have Draco Malfoy coming back to Hogwarts after the war to attend his 8th year, and immediately there was a Muggle-born Slytherin girl who latches onto him. Her and her little minion friend group decided to adopt a flesh-eating monster as their little pet. So Draco worried for his little friend and all of her other little friends too, and enlists the help of someone, the only one that he knows who is capable of dealing with all these problems, Hermione Granger. They kind of like found what I want to call a family with Draco, Hermione, and a bunch of little kids. 50,000 words, super quick. It's just such a delight to read. It has a perfect balance of everything in here, that it's not not entirely cheesy, but it's also not entirely angsty. This is one of my favorite, if not my most favorite 8-year story ever. I think that it's also perfect for the summer. It's just like a ball of sunshine. Next, we're moving on to longer fic territory here, and first we have 5 a.m. Waking Up by Mysterious Intention. Once again, we have another 8-year story where Draco comes back to Hogwarts and is coping with the war. In this story, his coping mechanism is running. Of course, during his daily runs, he runs into someone who was also running. But that's enough said. You guys already know that this story is going to be full of healing and second chances and newfound friendship. But if I have to convince you guys to read this story somehow, Draco was out running wearing his Draco Malfoy's outfit, as in like a button-down shirt, dress shoes, and trousers. So when he runs into Hermione Granger wearing a sport bra, he almost have like a Victorian maiden experience right there, okay? And what does Hermione Granger do? She gifted him like running clothes and running shoes. Isn't that like so cute? Next recommendation is probably the darkest recommendation that we have in this whole list. Sweetly Broken by Lady Kenzie 347. Whenever I think about Draco POV story, this story is like right here at the forefront of my head, and it is my most favorite Draco point of view story ever. This story is narrated by Draco in first person point of view, so you cannot get any more Draco point of view than this story. Read the tag of the story. It's not an easy read. It's a very angsty one, a very heavy one too, and you guys already know that Draco doesn't use healthy coping mechanism to go through the war. The story probably draw out one of the most realistic character arc for Draco post-war. The happy ending that the author gave to us is probably the most heart-fought happy ending that I've ever seen. I'm so proud of them, and I'm so happy for Draco and Hermione. The story is among my all-time favorite Hermione fanfiction ever, and I always keep it in the deepest corner of my heart because I treasure like Sweetly Broken by Lady Kenzie 347 so much. If you guys don't read anything else in this list, I feel like Sweetly Broken deserve an opportunity. Okay, the last recommendation, we have number 17, Between Certifiable and Bliss by H19. This story started out in 6th year for us with Draco having trouble sleeping because of nightmares. Theodore, being the good friend that he is, offered to give Draco a good night of sleep in the form of a spell dream. Guaranteed to have a good dream to fall asleep to. That's how the story opened up for us, but that synopsis doesn't cover the depth of this story at all. This story is just a perfect H19 story, very on point detail and perfect storytelling. On top of Draco and Hermione romance with H19 master, there was also some plot in this story as well. A little bit of a mystery to keep you on your toe and keep you reading. I feel like this story is also a very good way for you to test the water and see if you like H19 writing. And if you fall in love with Between Certifiable and Bliss, then you know you have to go out there and read Remain Nameless. But yeah, that's the end of my speedy Draco Malfoy point of view Hermione fanfiction recommendation. Almost all of these are my beloved fic that I would always go back to, regardless if it's narrated by Draco or not. But the fact that it is narrated by Draco is always an added bonus. Like I say, I love to see that bitch pine. I love to see him grovel for the girls that he thinks he doesn't deserve. In the spirit of his birthday, we can read some more of his suffering, okay? My comfort character, I love him to death. But anyways, I hope you guys have a good time hanging out with me today. Blow a little candle for Draco, read a little bit of a Draco Malfoy point of view on his birthday, and I'll see you guys in the next video, okay? Bye!